All right, let's see what Shelby has to say about why you shouldn't make an Airbnb in 2023. I have not watched this video yet, so let's get my reaction.
In 2020, Airbnb became one of the most popular real estate investments. But like they say, nothing lasts forever. And since 2020, a lot has changed.
Is Airbnb about to collapse?
The amount of people that are booking that is the concern here.
Inflation is causing a decline in bookings.
Airbnb superhosts say bookings have declined due to the...
To be fair, yes, Airbnb revenues have dropped for sure, 100%. Duh, we are in a recession. Whenever interest rates go up, guess what? Airbnb revenues go down. People who have, brick and mortar businesses, like you can own a construction business, and guess what? You are making 20 to 60% less this year than last year. In short, 90 to 95% of all industries in the US are down anywhere from like 10 to 50%, just depending on what industry they're in. There's only maybe about 5% of industries that have not been impacted. So, to be fair, when people are talking about this Airbnb bust, yes, revenues are down, but so is everything else. When you are in a recession, people are spending less money because, again, when interest rates go up, money becomes more expensive. And so there's a credit crunch and there is a money crunch.
For context, I'm an Airbnb host myself in Palm Springs. I've had my house up for about a year, and the earnings were not as good as I expected.
Now, I've been following Shelby for a little bit for the last few years, and if I was to guess, I believe she only has like 1 or 2 Airbnbs, and I believe both of them are in Palm Springs, California. So for her to say, based on her 1 or 2 properties in one city, that all other places don't work, I don't know if I'm going to believe that.
In the last 2 years, the average home price has gone up 40%. If you bought this property today for $1.2 million and put down 20%, your monthly mortgage would be about $6,500. That's about double what my mortgage is, so you really see the power of interest rates. And with my experience renting my house on Airbnb in a full year, those numbers just wouldn't work. You would not be able to break even.
Yeah, she's absolutely right there. With a purchase price of 1.2, with the this appreciation of properties increasing almost 40%, and with the super high interest rate, with 6,500 after you pay utilities, cleaning, your mortgage, or if you were renting that property for 6,500, you will likely lose money or break even. But it would not be a good opportunity. This is why, let's say I was doing Airbnb arbitrage and I was trying to rent her property. I wouldn't rent her property because if her payment was 6,500, first of all, she's not going to get that long-term rent from anybody, right? So she would be in a bad situation there. I would only rent properties that are with my price range. Maybe in that area, I'd want to rent properties between 3,500 and 4,000. And if the people who bought it 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 4 years ago, they may have a really good interest rate. They'd have a 2-3% interest rate, and it'd be a $3,000 payment. And even if I paid them $4,000, they'd be making $1,000. And if I can generate $6,000 a month, after cleaning fees and utilities, I could still profit. So you do have to understand the numbers in these types of situations. Also, keep in mind, anything that goes up must come up, and anything that goes up must come down. We are in the down. So guess what's coming after this down, right? Like what comes after winter? What comes after summer? What comes after fall? What comes after spring? So right now we are in the down, and you want to prepare. The time is now so you can be prepared to ride the next wave up.
I've been following this guy Rohan on Twitter, and his have still been doing so well that he wasn't sure if it was a rumor or not. However, what I realized about his properties is they're pretty much all in areas where you can't get a new rental permit anymore.
That's what I was going to say. So in that guy's situation, because you can't get any more permits, the supply has remained smaller. And even if the demand was higher at one point and now the demand is less, there's still the same amount of supply. Where in some other cities, there's been more and more and more and more and more Airbnb. So if you're operating in an area where no one else can get any additional permits, that could be a huge advantage.
A lot of people are annoyed with the fees, the checkout lists, and there are a lot of really bad Airbnbs out there.
I agree. There are, just like in anything, right? When something grows really big, you're going to have people who are perfectionists, meticulous, and are doing everything the way it should. And then you're going to have people on the opposite side of the spectrum that are doing everything that they possibly least have to do in order to still get some results. and they have like a watered down version of what it should be, and these people are ruining it for everybody else and giving us a bad reputation. But again, this happens across any industry when something grows as much as Airbnb does. So you have to make sure that you are raising the bar and not lowering the bar.
There are so many factors that affect the housing market. Airbnb is probably a pretty small role in it.
Very
Cities that don't even allow Airbnb still have ridiculously expensive housing. And I think that in 5 to 10 years, things will pick back up again and you're gonna be just fine in the meantime. So
yeah, like I have students that are buying properties right now, and we anticipate that in the next 6 to 15 months, interest rates will come down. And then at that point, they can refinance and drastically bring down their mortgage payment. I believe, just from my experience, I've been investing in real estate since 2012, so that's 11 years. It would be very unsustainable to keep raising the interest rates higher than they are today in 2023 because it would just crash the market really bad. And even then, if the market did crash or when it crashes, they would have to bring down interest rates to maybe 1% or 2% in order to motivate and incentivize people to then start buying real estate. So I believe it's just a matter of time before interest rates come down.
gone are the days of buying just a normal home like this in an area that you don't even like and putting it on Airbnb just to make a quick buck.
This is true, right? There's a lot of people out there that actually want to buy properties or rent properties to use them themselves, to go on vacation with their family. And the other 95% of the time when they aren't there, they are renting it on Airbnb. And now they have a place that they can vacation whenever they want. So if you have a property, for example, in Big Bear, California, and during the winter you want to hang out with your family in your awesome cabin that you own or that you're renting and doing arbitrage, you just block out those dates and then rent out the rest of the time.
One last thing I want to note is that this is just my own personal opinion, right? It's based on my experience.
It's based on her experience with one Airbnb, it sounds like, in one city. But again, it is true, right? Numbers are down. That said, there are places where you can still be profitable as long as you know how to do your due diligence on the numbers, on the regulation, and you know how to build a team and a system so that it is a passive experience for you as the entrepreneur.
A lot of what I see on YouTube now is people still promoting Airbnb. I think their properties might not be as profitable anymore either. One example, there is a guy, Sean, who has made a few videos about me, and no shade to him, whatever, but he is still often promoting doing Airbnb, probably, I think because he has a course that he sells for like $500 on how to do Airbnb. So there is some incentive there to promote Airbnb, to get people to want to do it. But his calendars look pretty empty, and he's even talked about that in some more recent videos. I went through a bunch of his listings, and there is like almost no bookings at all for many of these properties. And almost all of them are priced under $100 a night. I don't know how he could possibly not be losing money, honestly.
Wow. Interesting.
Even if someone is selling a course that is genuinely really good information, it might be that it's a little too late, I think. I think there are some courses that are out there that are probably really good. And if you had purchased...
Like Jorge Contreras. I'm just kidding. But again, this is true, right? The numbers are down in 95% of all industries, not just in Airbnb. And I'm sure even I have a couple friends that have YouTube channels like almost 1 million subscribers, and guess what? Their numbers are down as well because again, people are spending less money. We're in a credit crunch. We are in a money crunch. There's higher unemployment, even though the Fed is saying that we actually have good employment. They're just lying because they don't want to admit yet that we are in a recession.
The Airbnb bust is real. Also a note, because I know a lot of people are going to say, so are you still doing the Joshua Tree property? And I am still planning on doing that.
Joshua
I think
Tree,
that is kind of the third
that area
exception.
is
If you're
right
building
now.
new construction, it's possible for the numbers to still make sense. And I would have to get into that in like a whole separate video. But I just think really, yeah, I think honestly for the vast majority of people, Airbnb just isn't gonna make sense in 2023. I'm learning along the way, and I'm just kind of sharing my findings, what I am honestly finding.
So in short, there's places where you can be still profitable today, although the numbers are down, but again, so is everything else. And I believe that this recession will create more millionaires than any other time in history. And you want to make sure that you're around the right community and that you're learning the right information from a coach or mentor that you resonate, or from YouTube, or from reading books, right? But make sure you get the right knowledge and information so that you can be in the right place to maximize the opportunities that are about to come, that are around the corner. Make sure you guys check out one of my other videos here, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video. See you on the next one. Peace.